Hi everyone, I have a channeled message to start today's reading. The message that I have is someone here who has been healing generational wounds and finding the patterns and the reasons within the external chaos of their own existence. It's a very deep message. The channeled message that accompanies the cards that you can actually see on the table are a very deep reflection of what someone has been finding within themselves. The universe is going to give you a glimpse of an unrealized reality for you to set into motion, to start setting this unrealized reality into motion. Some of you may be returning to a hometown. Some of you may be leaving a hometown. But know that you are all definitely going home. Hi everyone, welcome to the reading part of this video. There's so much here for me to go through, and I'm trying to figure out how to start articulating it. Actually, to be quite honest, I've started a couple of times, and it's just almost like I start to stumble on my words because there's just so much to talk about. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into a very methodical approach because there is so much information here. Okay, so we're going to start with who I'm looking at and what I see here. I see someone who would have a very strong internal driving force. It's almost like there's a part of your soul in this lifetime that will not go unheard. And I don't know if this is through some sort of like spiritual and soul evolution that has taken place over lifetimes that has allowed your soul to be almost so vocal and so not to go unheard here. You need to follow through on certain things that you were guided to do in this lifetime. This is kind of like, even at points, finding yourself quite comfortably in a situation, in a dynamic, in a place, and needing to go beyond that. It's almost like your soul may have an intense drive for growth in this lifetime, and this growth comes out in very interesting ways. With both, we've already talked about this, Larry, there's a lot of cards on the table. Okay. He's trying his best not to lay on the cards. It's a good boy. He's really trying. Okay, that's okay. You're gonna make a compromise. I can make a compromise. Let's just give me a second here, though. All right. Don't get snippy with the tail. You came into my space. Okay. That's a good boy. All right. Thank you. Okay, but I can't just sit here and pat you. That's not the purpose of what I'm doing right now. I think he figures you're just sitting there and you're not doing anything. You might as well make use of yourself and pat me. Okay. Because this is like the truth of your soul that seems to speak through to you at different times in your lifetime. I might even be looking at like something very significant. Well, I think I'm looking at something very significant right now for you that is about to actually play out as you're moving forward. Now, but I feel like this is more like kind of like a theme in this lifetime. Almost, I would describe it too as pilgrimage. Oh yeah, I was holding these up before Larry interrupted us. So I want to say this is almost like finding yourself in the darkness and moving towards the light. And at times maybe even moving towards a light source, an idea that most people wouldn't understand and might seem very unclear. Like, why would the collective be doing this right now? What is going on with the collective? And this star is kind of coming out to me almost like a navigation, like something that you would see in the sky, and it would navigate you to some type of change. This is who you are, and this is what I see. I'm not looking at the energy of someone who is, if you find yourself in some sort of space of comfort and predictability, that might be fine for a while, but it almost starts to unleash a part of yourself here that needs to expand and grow. There really is this energy is like the soul of someone, and I don't know if it's all the time or if it's just in this lifetime, that needs to move beyond the borders and the boundaries of what you are familiar with. And this could happen at times that makes like no sense to anyone else, or why you do these movements. It's just like, you just know you need to make a change. Like even the channeled message, like that even indicated that there is some type of a change that's about to happen as well here. Like I said, like I think some of you are going to be returning to a hometown. Some of you are leaving a hometown, but something is about to happen. You're about to do something. You're about to get some type of a discovery too between you and the universe. Something is going to take place here, and we're going to get to that in due time. There are a lot of cards here. All right, a lot of people, this is really interesting because this is the last card in the Wild Unknown Archetype deck. And I like to describe it as the chaos of the universe, that when it's all brought together, it actually creates a form of order. But when it's in all of its separate pieces, it is something that is perceived as disorder and chaotic. Thanks, Larry. This is where you find your extreme wisdom, though. Well, people do see this. This is what's really interesting. There's elements of yourself that people understand, and there's definitely elements of who you are that are misunderstood at the time of, I would describe as certain activations that are going on within you. There's definitely a sense of others not really understanding why you make the choices and decisions that you do, but it is about the underlying order within chaos. And I feel that this is something that is triggered on a soul level. Like you may even do some things sometimes and you don't know why. Some people might describe you as maybe reckless or impulsive, but there's always some sort of order that comes out of that. There's always some sort of discovery and growth that does come out of that, because people do see that you are able to understand a lot more than even perhaps that they do or that they could. I kind of want to say too, like this could be, okay, this energy I'm picking up, this is a message here, kind of describing this. This is like even perhaps, there are some people who walk through life and they fear death. They fear death. They fear, death, and they fear the loss of things around them. And this is not to say that you don't experience fear at times in your life, but I feel like you understand the order of things. You understand the meaning and the transition. It's like you yourself are transitional. You transition and you grow and you develop. I mean, I think everybody does to some extent, but yours is very unique in what I'm seeing here. I think you can also, people see you as being successful at times. And it is kind of like a mystery to a lot of people, because it's almost like you're looking at the desert. You're both desert, ocean, whatever you want it to be. You're looking at something and other people are looking at it as well. And everybody is seeing it everyone around you is seeing it for what it is at face value. But it's almost as if you see something much deeper that has a greater meaning underneath the surface of everything. And it's underneath the surface of everything where you discover opportunities in your life. But a lot of people, I don't know, this could have something to do with your intuition. This could have, something to do with intuition and the way your soul is able to speak through beyond your ego so that you can see these opportunities. People do see you definitely having opportunities in things that just seem completely mysterious and incomprehensible to them. Like, how did you even do that? Or, someone could be working on or perfecting an art or a project in their life. They may feel that they know it inside out and upside down, and you may be newly introduced to it, and within just a few hours, days, or weeks, you have found opportunities within that someone else has just never even discovered. So there is kind of that energy that, like, that people see this in you. Now, This is okay. This is coming out as like the part here that like, right, people see the result of actions that you take. They don't understand how, it's almost like there must be a repeat pattern here, because sometimes people just get lucky, right? Sometimes people just get lucky and they're in the right space at the right time and they create an opportunity for themselves. And it's like, wow, you're really lucky. But it's almost like this is a repeat pattern that then is something that people don't understand. Like, this is the part that people really don't understand. I feel like some of you may have some type of genealogy that is connected to sort of like, I want to say, esoteric information or esoteric magic. And whether you're even aware of this or not, I want to say for some of you, this could be something that's even been passed down, like through practice and teaching within a family unit or a culture or a group. Others of you, I feel like this happens subconsciously because it's passed down almost like through DNA. But this it's almost, okay, I want to say it's almost like this DNA activation exists in every human being on earth. But if there's a resonance of the soul that will actually activate this. So it's like a closed off circuit for those that do not have the soul knowledge to actually open it up. And that's kind of what you do here. It's kind of, yeah, it's like your direction is never wrong. And then people are like, how can that be? This can't just be luck. How is this person doing this? What sort of secrets does this person know? Some of you could actually, I don't know, there could even be something physical here that some of you have, something that's been passed down through generations, and how you, it might be a tool. It might be a spiritual tool. It is going towards knowledge, finding the secrets. It's as if you are capable of finding secrets within, like, okay, whoa, that's weird. I just saw like someone looking at an egg, which is interesting because you guys have, well, you probably saw, you have 3 of the eggs. I think that's actually all of them, right? I'm not missing one. There's the black egg, the golden egg, and the cosmic egg. Where's the book? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is all the eggs. Yeah, so you pulled out all the eggs. Okay, that's interesting because what I was seeing there is someone who's like just looking at an egg. Again, you and someone else could be looking at eggs at the grocery store. You know, you pop open the carton and you see the eggs, but it's like you see what's on the surface, right? Or other people do. You do see what's on the surface, but then it's almost like there might be times where you see the egg and you start to see, you see these patterns in the eggs, but it was displayed to me kind of like, I guess, through vision. It's almost like you start to see the sacred geometry within things. So you start to understand the connection. It's almost like the code of life. You understand the code of life. Again, I feel like some of you, this might be quite conscious that you do this. And others of you, this is subconscious. It's almost like an explanation for you to understand how it is that you've been navigating yourself. And I don't know, some of the opportunities that you've been able to create in life. Yeah, it is like a sacred wisdom. And I don't know, it's something about the soul. So maybe this is some sort of journey that your soul has experienced over many, 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 many lifetimes. It's interesting. Like, I've been doing private readings, and for some of the people that have wanted the soul journey reading, I've come across a few people, and we really go back into some really ancient energies. And it's kind of like the soul retains the memory of these lessons. And as the soul has been evolving and human beings have been evolving, there's been different changes to the DNA structure. And every single person holds the capacity within them, every human being. So regardless of who you would incarnate into, the switch is there. I've seen this before in a reading. Years and years ago, like the switch. And that's what this is. there's a switch there. And it's only certain people whose souls have progressed to a certain extent that are able to hit a frequency and resonance to activate it. And I'm not even seeing like that it's always necessarily like, you know, often is described in spiritualism, it is a high frequency, a high resonance that flicks this off. No, it's almost like a desire of the soul here that has to be fulfilled. And it could even be at a point where the soul is feeling like I've hit a ceiling here and that's not enough. It's like it pushes through, it hits the switch and it opens up. It's like a sunroof in your car and it opens it up. Interesting. This is kind of like the image of yourself, like what is projected into the world. So you have the cave, you have the Three of Pentacles. What's really interesting too, right? It's where others see obstacles, you see a way through, because you can see through it. You can see like the code of life in each thing that exists here. The opportunity becomes real. See, it's almost like a lot of people could wish and imagine for certain things in life here, but then you actually create the opportunity. That's the thing that just really kind of throws people. I kind of want to say too that there's probably the likelihood that a lot of people are drawn to you over time. Also people that may have, upon first meeting you, may have, you know, not necessarily formed an opinion about you or whether or not they would want to build anything with you. But it's almost like over time, there's this desire because it's home. Home is that description too, like, right? What home is in just like from our soul's perspective and through spirit is, you know, returning to source. But it's almost like you have part of this source within you and it's quite strong and it's quite clear. And that's like a magnet for every soul. It's really, I don't know, it keeps coming back to this fact that you see things beyond the surface, where most people just see the surface and then they become distracted by the surface. And the surface is the only goal to them. That's the only thing that they see. So I feel like this is also an explanation as to why people perceive you as like, how do they do this? How do they just like luck out? Or how does this work out for them? How do they make this major change and then everything works out? Or how do they, you know, it's because you're not looking at the surface. You're looking at something much deeper. It's like, you know, if you're looking at a bunch of books on the shelf and they've all got a cover, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. They've all got a cover. But once you get into the book, the story can be completely different from what you perceived it to be based on the cover. And I want to say that's where the truth and fallacy kind of switch. Okay, your soul's hidden agenda is really cool. Your soul has a hidden agenda, as do all souls in each lifetime. And I actually want to say part of your soul's hidden agenda comes through in this underline. We have shapeshifter, the thread, and then the queen. And you have the mother for your soul's hidden agenda. And actually both the mother and the queen are about the dualistic nature of each. And they're both coming forward as feminine. So that's kind of interesting and unique. But The Queen could be quite kind, quite nurturing, quite supportive, quite sympathetic towards those in her charge or those within the kingdom. Or she could be quite a tyrant and demand that certain needs of her own be met through others' resources or efforts, taking advantage of people for power. So there's, right, and even the dualistic energy of the mother is, right, even just to give birth is to release something. But then in the same sense, it is also to pull it within you, towards you, and to keep it safe and to nurture it and to guide it. But then to do that is to prepare it to leave. So there's this very dualistic energy that comes through about you. And I want to say that there are times where you may be perceived by some as being perhaps harsh or cold or indifferent or callous. But it's because they're looking at the surface. They're looking at the surface. And if there is, okay, this is interesting. So this is reminding me of something here. So there's a lot of misconception that goes around through the world, all of us, and I have it at different times too. And one of the ones that I feel is one of the most incorrect connections with one of the tarot cards in tarot is the Fool card. There's a lot of tarot readers that see it as Aries energy. And even actually, to be quite honest, when I was first doing tarot, I did as well, and it's not. It's Aquarius energy. And I know there was in one of the videos recently, somebody said, how can that be Aquarius? And or something. And I just said, you know what? Because it's repeated over and over and over again as being something that it is not, to the point where eventually everyone believes the lie or they believe the misinformation. And when that happens, it's the surface. This is the surface without like really researching it and understanding the planetary placement that represents the Fool card. And you're like, well, that planet doesn't represent Aries, it represents Aquarius. So that's where you see deeper. So it's almost like I'm kind of taking it from a very esoteric reading to try to ground it a little bit here, because it's like, well, if you're going against the grain, but if going against the grain is the actual truth of your soul's journey or of the reality of existence or the goal of the soul, then that may be perceived as harsh. But then I feel like once you've been through your journey, once you've started to align with the purpose that your soul has had for any changes that you've made in your life as well, that's when you are seen as this, right? Like it depends on the lens that somebody is wearing at any time to view you and to see you. Because you do pull on this energy. It comes from something more than who you are, more than what is here. And that is like the truth. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I could come off kind of harsh and saying, you know what, it is Aquarius. And I think I said, just because a whole bunch of people continuously repeat a fallacy, and then that fallacy becomes heard more often than the actual truth, does not make me a jerk or does not make me ignorant of the actual truth. You know what I'm saying? There you go. So, okay, you have the Four of Cups, the Mother, and the Horse here. Now, it's so interesting because just in these cards, you've pulled out this dualistic energy, right? To give birth is to release something from you. But then as soon as that release occurs, the world is a dangerous place. And human beings, we don't know how to walk and do shit right away for ourselves like a lot of animals do. So you have to bring that child back in and nurture it. But the whole point of bringing it in and nurturing it is so that it becomes independent and can function on its own and release it. And then the Four of Cups is like not seeing the higher cup, not seeing the bigger picture, not seeing the opportunity, not having the ability to go after the opportunity. Something could be in the way. But then the Horse is all about freedom, ascension, just, yes, having free reign over your soul's journey and where you know it should be or where you want to go. It's okay. So yeah, with the horse too, I want to say it's like taking spiritual knowledge and turning it into physical opportunity, which is kind of like where I've been leading with in all of these cards up to this point, right? That's kind of like where it's been taking us to get there. Oh, the other thing that I think is really interesting is this is the very first card in this series, in the archetypes of the well unknown. That's your soul's hidden agenda. The very beginning. The perception that people have of you is the very end. Isn't that kind of cool? Actually, isn't that funny that I mentioned that the Fool card here? Because it is like the beginning. It's not 0, but it is the very first card. And this is like the Fool, and this is like the World. There isn't. It's infinite. It's infinite. And you will always be infinite, as will everyone else. Leaving and return. Oh, that's interesting. Leaving and return. Because that's like the channeled message towards the end of it. The 8 of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Leaving it all, dismantling it, and returning it new. Something weird. It wasn't like the image kind of like darkened for a second and it stayed there. Okay. What is this section here? Larry's in front of my layout. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is what your next move should be. This is interesting. This is... The Cosmic Egg is the last card too. That's really interesting. The Cosmic Egg is the last card in the Wild Unknown Oracle. So you have out of, yeah, is there, yeah, out of the 2 Oracle decks of the Wild Unknown, you have the both endings here. Okay, this is about I would describe it as like some type of an unconscious discovery, a subconscious, even like something subconscious becoming conscious, consciously known here. You've been like going through intense transformation and you are about to like, your next move here is to allow some type of transformation to take place with you again. There's a type of, I would describe as like lost magic. Lost magic within you that you're meant to make here on Earth, where you're meant to, I guess, almost hatch out. So I feel like there's some sort of trigger. Something's going to happen here. And when it does, your guidance here is to go towards this or to let it happen, allow it to unfold, because it's creating something new of yourself here. It could even be something very, there's like momentarily, like something very momentarily. Something that happens just for like a few seconds. It's the truth. And it might disappear quickly. It's like a truth that you're going to see. You're going to see through another level of the surface. You're going to see beyond another level of the surface here. But it's only like a glimpse of it. And it is to retain the belief, because it's almost like everything becomes shiny again, like the shiny outer surface. Believe what you see and hang on to it. Hang on to this belief, hang on to this knowing. You're going to be shown something or receive some sort of information, or you're going to have a moment here where something becomes very, very clear to you. And when that becomes very, very clear, it's almost like it could start to, like, I don't know, the real world sets in and something, you know, you could be just having a moment at the grocery store, you're shopping, and all of a sudden, like, you know, the aisles are clear and you're all by yourself and you just, I don't know, it could actually be something external in your environment that is like too impossible to ignore, and the truth of something becomes very prevalent. I wanted to say present, but prevalent came out of my mouth. Right? And it's like you hold that moment and then the moment is gone, because it's almost, people start coming down the aisle. If the music paused for a second on the speakers, then it comes in again. And then as the day goes on, it's almost like if you have a dream, and that dream can feel very, very real. And then you wake up and then it starts to fade throughout the day. But I want to say it's your belief that could start to fade throughout the day. Is to believe in this momentary, this instance of magic that you're going to be shown by the cosmos. And when you believe in it, again, it's going to allow you to see beyond the surface of things and be able to achieve something that nobody else could see possible to achieve. So that's that message. This is that collective message. All right. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to see what you really need to know about yourself and what your truest path is. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.